Frigid here as always. I suppose like one quick little. Well, first off, I should probably mention that I figured I'd stream on Monday to make up for some of the for trying to make up a bit for the days it took off. Oh yeah, that's right. I pulled that one from the dispenser over the weekend. Well, between streams, this one too. The FOS Ego Spice Bush. So I've more or less got a sinking team I can make use of now. Six. It'd be really nice if I had Sword Sharpened by Tears identity for Rodion. But I'm gonna have to wait a while for that one. Obviously. I wonder who this is going to turn out to be. Oh, is that going to turn out to be Fabius Bile? Or Fabius?
보는 눈은 있네요. 보는 눈은 있네요.
걸맞는 곳.
주인 놈 뜻에 따라 맡겨두시게. 나를 불렀나? 헌팅 커틀러리 준비 끝.
This is the doctor. Research at Rhodes Island. Nice to meet you. Oh. I guess I should have expected that. Ask a silly question, get a silly answer. Wait a second. If he's the doctor, where's his sonic screwdriver? When I, after everything we went through, finally had the chance to meet the Doctor of Rhodes Island. Oh, he's the Doctor of Rhodes Island, not the Doctor, so he doesn't have a sonic screwdriver. I realized that I'd been building a vastly different image of them in my mind based on the name alone. What, are you picturing a fez and a bow tie? I was thinking they're going to be someone like Yi Sang, Faust, or Hohenheim from LCE, but the first impression of them was similar to what it felt when I met a K-Corp employee. The clock just ticked. And this is Dante, Merchant Limbus Company. That ticket just now was nice to meet you. Okay. Thanks for accompanying Amiya. Honestly, I was pretty worried when we were separated at the border. And I should thank you and Amiya, actually. We would have been in a real pickle without her, so... It's a bit embarrassed to repeat that myself. Dante says that we would have been in a real pickle without Miss Amiya. Sorry, Manager Bud. Sorry, Manager Bud can't talk human, so don't worry about it. We'll take over the translation. Ooh, boy. I can't remember the last time I've seen Marisol talk that much. It is incorrect to state that the manager cannot talk human. More accurate assessment would state that the manager is incapable of accessing sonic means of communication, which includes verbal communication. However, they are able to produce repetition of multiple sounds that may register on a similar scale to the ticking of multiple hands, second hands, minute hands of a clock. I don't know, something about the way Marisol put it sounds... the way Marisol put it sounds worse. Don't worry, it is not a difficult task when only a single individual has to be translated. Doctor, let us move on to the next steps of the plan. Next steps? Thanks to Limbus Company's efforts, we obtained the exact coordinates of the vessel Mossus and managed to capture the decks with ease. However, Fabius, who is supposed to be a bishop of the deep, made his followers have barricaded themselves inside the bridge's control room. While it may seem as though they're hiding, I believe they're trying to bait us. As in they are waiting for us to enter the bridge before summoning reinforcements from elsewhere to trap us in a pincer attack? Something like that. The elsewhere is most likely to be the sea, as the reinforcements are probably more sea terrors. Fabius is a seaborn, and the ocean will answer to the call of their kind. Limbus Company and Irene will head to the bridge and neutralize Fabius. Abby and I will accompany you to provide support and identify the individual within the bridge. In the meantime, Kotz and the other operators will remain on standby on the ship's exterior at the pre-designated locations. I'd like to avoid getting surrounded by sea terrors before we manage to take down the Church of the Deep within the bridge. I observed several entry points leading straight to the bridge while we were working on repairing the vessel. The force doesn't seem numerous enough to close off all of them. It is true that there are many entry points here, but we don't need forces guarding every single one of them. Especially here, the hallway is narrow, long, and straight, so makes sense to me. How about here? Are you sure you're not overly focusing your forces to a single checkpoint? Let's see. But a closer look. Looks like Commanding Officer Otis is finally in her environment. Got any questions, Manager Bud? I have no idea what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about if I'm being honest. Actually, with tower defense games, what tends to work really well oftentimes is not defending a single long, narrow corridor, at least a straight one, but rather one that's kind of long and winding. I mean, that's usually the case, at least a lot of the tower defense games I've played. Really? I see you commanded the Sinners earlier. You seem pretty adept at giving orders and making strategic decisions. Indeed, they seem quite adept at making on-the-spot strategic commands and identifying the exploitable weaknesses and patterns of their enemies. However, the Doctor and the Outsider are operating on fundamentally different fields. No further elaboration is necessary. Agreed, that particular aspect of strategizing is not one of Major Dante's obligations, and even if there is a chance for them to engage in such elements, it may be too early to do so. True. Like I said, Arknights is something of a tower defense game, whereas so a lot of the Doctor would be really good at coordinating battle plans for siege or for siege conditions or battles of attrition. Dante would be much better adept at doing kind of on the spot frontline assaults. Or maybe just holding a single point. Is that so? It is. At least that is what Faust has judged. What are they on about? I was about to ask that myself. I don't know. I have no idea. Having finished your discussion with the Doctor over the plan, Otis returned wearing a grim look. Huh? Something wrong with the plan? No, there wasn't anything wrong with the plan. I expected a certain degree of competency, but they were impressive, far beyond my expectations. Really? That good, huh? Even when I think back to my days in the line of duty, I can't think of too many like them. Right. Right, so they're dependable. Good enough for me. If your strategize is done, let's get cracking. What have you missed, my ears? Is it too much to face what awaits? Then you need not follow us. I decided to stay here anyway. The Doctor's going to update you in real time on where the safe zones are, so please keep that communicator close to you. I will. Hey, if Gramps, is there something you would like for us to do? No, it's nothing. If there's something you want to tell him, contact us through the communicator at any time. We're going to find a way to resolve this as peacefully as we can, but if the negotiations break down... Yeah, I know what you mean, Doctor. Be safe, everyone. Leaving Mayers behind with her unfinished sentence, we followed the Rhodes Island team into the bridge. The bridge was as gaudily decorated as ever. Fabius, flanked by hooded followers and sea terrors, greeted us with a kindly smile. Welcome. I truly did appreciate that kindness. Wherefore didst thou seek to harm us? Your suspicions are certainly justified, but I implore you to think back. If you truly believed that we had sought to harm you then, how would you explain that one peaceful night you had spent in Ferro Muerto? We have never wished you any harm. We did not then, and we do not now. Huh, not even a day after you folks stabbed us in the back like cowards. You want us to believe that? Our wish has always been the same. We only wish to extend the freedom to roam the seas to those with capable, kind-hearted souls. Mike, we know you're just trying to turn us into sea monsters of some kind. Monster is only a name. The essence of its being changes not regardless of the label given to it. Become one with the sea. Become one with the endless cycle of life. And one day your misunderstandings will end, and you'll come to understand us. I'm getting some H.P. Lovecraft vibes from this Church of the Deep. Looks like this fight between us is going to be unavoidable. Pulled out the identity cards the moment I saw Fabius raising his hand. The doctor seemed to have finished their preparations as well as they and Amia stood opposite Fabius. Incoming! Get ready, everyone! Let's stop them here for good, no matter how long it takes. Strategic formation prioritizes reducing sacrifices to the absolute minimum. Command sought to protect, sought to defend, and their forces were quick to follow them. Rhodes Island's operation was certainly impressive, but that's not exactly our style. All I can do is put my faith in the sinners and push them onward. Our style is trust me to bring you back, no matter how many times they cut you down. Let's wipe them out.
이상이요. 행색이 이상하나 그럼에도 이상이요. 내가 왔어. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위 이상이요.
Alright. Yeah, that's what I thought.
먹을 콱 물어버리자.
이야 누구기를 본다. 저 해충들을 도려내라. 묘여 길을 열어. 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나. 마음 놓고 열어젖히고 혈육도 봐라. 몰아넣었으니 더는 못 따라나.
Oh crap! Man, I need to bust out the bot spray again.
시간 끌 것 없이
Oh, come on! No way my luck is that bad. And kind of like what I thought, yeah, it turned out not to be. That'll work. Well... Eh. There we go. There we go. That's more like it.
일기당천.
깨우치시게.
다음 세상으로 넘어가려면 자, 여기구나.
시간은 좋았어요.
바람 불어오는 대로.
Another one down, another one down, another one bites the dust.
그쪽 방향으로
Hey,
갈 텐데.
I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
이 거리면 충분해. 너한텐 조금 멀겠지만.
I'm gonna say what they will about the band. Put out some really good music. Oh shoot, I forgot about the Another Sea brand. Just to be sure. Eh. Well, that's going to give it assist defense, so she's going to be able to handle the unopposed attack.
일기당천.
That was not supposed to happen.
무슨 술수를 이제 깨우치시길.
That was. That too. And that. What happened? Yeah, because it glitched out.
베레사는 범인이었던 지난날과 다를 바가 무엇인지.
내 명을 들은 시비수 결집이다. 이상이요. 행색이 이상하나 그럼에도 이상이요. 내가 맞소. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위.
Nice.
이상이요. 시비수에게는 어쩌겠지. 잘 생각해보라고. 숨지자. 정작 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나.
틈나군요.
As I'll save it for later.
자, 어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해보라고.
That didn't go as planned. That's more like it.
고작 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나.
Alright. Next. Well,
날개를 펼치고 발톱을 걸어.
이제 깨치시게. 조금은 좋았어.
혈압도 걸어.
oh shoot.
거리는 충분해. 너한텐 멀겠지만.
Yeah, that'll take care of that. Alright. 2 waves. Oh dear.
목을 콱 물어버리자.
Yeah, I'll be right back real quick.
저 해충들을 도려내라.
틈틈 이제 깨우치시게.
묘야. 길을 열어. 넌 폼을 틔울 수도 없겠구나. 바람 불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
무상한 목숨. 불끈을 지원할 뿐.
Oh, it's just one little straggler left.
일기당천이.
깨우치시게.
had a bit of an interesting thought the other day. So, I don't remember if it was last year or if it was maybe earlier. For the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror special, they kind of had a tribute to Death Note. Not sure if it was the whole episode or if it was just one of the 3 segments. Come on, there you go. Well, okay. All right. So, with that being the case, I kind of wonder, what if the creators have decided to have another Treehouse of Horrors special that was kind of a tribute to Junji Ito? Specifically, what exactly would be some of the horror stories that Junji Ito made that they would adapt into probably segments for a Halloween special? And I think Balloon Head might be one of them, mostly because that one is, due to just kind of the weird nature of that specific story, it seems like it could be easily adapted into, well, maybe not necessarily, not just easily adapted, but made kind of goofy, I guess. To be rather, in a way that'd be rather fitting for a Treehouse of Horrors special. Come on. My mouse is trying to get me killed! That makes sense.
먹을 콱 물어버리자. 틈틈 이제 깨치시겠.
Yeah, come to think of it, it would actually surprise me if... it would surprise me a bit if they haven't had a Treehouse of Horror special that was that kind of had a nod to Five Nights at Freddy's. But what surprised me even more so is if the creators of the series just, didn't have any plans or inclination to do so. How about no?
불가 위야 막아내지 못해.
Is that you, Osmond Sadler?
바람 불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
무상한 약속. 불끈한 지원일 뿐.
Pop goes the weasel.
Mission accomplished.
They're pretty persistent. Famous flees again, using seared tears and his followers as beat shields. Wait, no, I see it now. It's not Fabius who's putting them in harm's way to save himself. Sea tears and the cultists are throwing themselves in our way, entirely willing to sacrifice their lives to ensure that Fabius gets away. For all that, the only place left for him to flee on the ship, wounded and cornered by the Singers and Irenes of Lamplight, was the decks. Nowhere left to run, Fabius. I understand you can't help but continue to thrash and struggle to live, knowing that there's no hope. Why didn't only make your pain worse? That's different. Fabi didn't run to live. Voice echoes from under the dark sky. Mayors? She's suddenly dressed so differently. Mayors appeared quite different from how she did a moment ago. She approaches Fabius slowly, her expression solemn and mournful. She looks down at him wordlessly. I told you that your methods won't win their understanding, Fabi. What a shame. Not those with such wisdom and aptitude would. I hoped you would still be able to realize your ideal here, even after I'd left. It will be realized. Fabius may die here, but we will remain. Now it is time. Devour me. Fabius blurted out threw us off once again, even before we regained our footing from the shock of realizing Mayor's true allegiance. Eat people? So, I guess he's made of Soylent Green? Or maybe Mayor's just has a preference for Soylent Green or something. Oh, looks like they're about to give us a live demonstration of some gourmet art. I heard it's a pretty common thing at the District 23 backstreets, but I'd rather not see it in person. Hey, I think I'm just gonna look away. That's okay, right? Just what? Doctor, weaker seaboards willingly let themselves be devoured by stronger ones, thereby sharing their experiences and nutrients with them. This is a commonly accepted practice among them. It is but a behavior that prioritizes survival over all else. This isn't done in any sense of sacrifice. The time is here. Devour me. Set sail toward your ideal. Sorry, Fabi. I've still got some canned food left for me on this ship, and I think I'll delay becoming a seaboard for a little while. Why? I found a new destination. I'll gain a new power from there, and then become seaboard. So now is not yet the time. If that is your will, O Bishop. Don't worry, your flesh will fatten the bloodkin of the sea. Mayers waves her hand and sea terrors climb up into the vessel from the ship and begin tearing Fabius to pieces. Despite the way it looked, Fabius looked exhilarated. Every look of suffering or pain wrinkling his face as they ripped his flesh apart. We turned away from the scene that could not be described as anything else other than cannibalism to look at Mayers. Chalcit, is she... Don't need to ask questions, but the answer lies plenty before you, Doctor. What is happening? Wherefore did young Mayers... It wasn't Fabius. Mayers was the Bishop of the Deep.
또 한 줄 길을 남겼고 핏물진 길을
Almost there.
세월이 지나면 홍호는 그제야 알게 되겠지. 이 홍로가 무엇 바꿨는지를.
Come on. They played us. Don't despair. We still have the upper hand. We defeated Fabius and his cultists already, and even if they were to summon more sea terrors, we should be able to handle them without much trouble. Hey, Aegir, just what were you thinking the entire time as you deceived us? I had a feeling I knew what she was going to say to that. She was either going to say that it was for our sake, that it wasn't a deception at all, or maybe she'll give us one final gloating. But her reply, the words of which carefully selected after gazing out at the far ocean, was not what any of us could have expected. I'm sorry. I thought this would be the better way to approach you, but I see how it came across as nothing more than deception. You're sorry? Why? Bande wants to know why you're sorry. Well, and that's because I did something wrong. Wait, hold on. You've been deceiving us all along, Mayers, and now you're gonna... Oi, what exactly are you after? After something that geezer was, ain't that right? Tell us in your bloodkins that it was all for our sake, giving all kinds of ridiculous excuses to turn us into one of those monsters. I do hope that you would all one day accept becoming Seaborns. But I'm not about to demand that you let yourselves be transformed today, right here and now. I understand that we all need some time to mentally prepare ourselves. I understand your statement to be implying that you will not be forcing this upon us should we refuse. That's correct. It'd be against Mayers to do what Fabius did, shoving sea terror cells inside your body out of nowhere. Manners, huh? I was taken aback by the fact that Mayers was a bishop of the deep. It's also true that Mayers had never tried to bring us harm, like Fabius who attacked the sinners directly. But she did almost get us in big trouble with Irene while explaining things to us. It's also true that Mayers has been extremely helpful so far. It was her who led us to the lighthouse. It was her who stayed in that crumbling lighthouse until the repairs were done as that terrifying night continued to assail its walls. What was your actual relationship to Fabius anyway? Just someone who also once strove to realize the visions of our ideal worlds. Our goals once converged, but not now. I was pretty taken aback too when they attacked you back at the village. Maybe he got greedy when he saw Faust and Otis repairing the ship. He got greedy? Fabius believed that welcoming capable people as Bloodkin would expedite Seaborn's evolution. Cool. So you're like some cult leader, but you don't necessarily want to antagonize us. You still haven't told us what you're after, though. You know what you're after, though? I'm going to the city that lies beyond the dimensional door. So you're trying to flee to a different world where the Inquisition won't be able to chase you? This isn't running away. I just want to help the people of the city, that's all. So, I'm bringing the Seaborns with me to the city. Don't tell me. You're going to invade the city alongside those monsters, then? Then the foghorn suddenly blared and the ship shook as it began to move. Boy, I say, boy! Vessel Mosses has begun to move. Is this automated sailing program? The Vessel Mosses will now sail toward the dimensional door. I'll let Rhodes Island and Irene go right in front of the door, so don't worry. Did you seriously tell us not to worry? Faust! Please calm yourself, Dante. It has not yet been determined if that is indeed the dimensional door connecting directly back to the city. No, it has to be. The warm, shining light, and the voice from within is getting clearer and clearer. The voice from within? Why don't we just let them into the city? The battles thus far have done well enough to demonstrate the level of danger Seaborns pose. However, I doubt they'll get very far even if they were to enter the city. Don't you agree? In Hongyuan, we've all seen what happens when sapient, sentient, non-human entities enter the city. They will take action the moment they realize their presence. And they would probably wreck Limbus Company for allowing them in. Of course, we must prepare ourselves for repercussions in case they decide... Yeah, in case they decide to hold Limbus Company responsible once the dust settles. It is also very likely they will fully escape any culpability, as you saw in the memories of the Kong massacre. Your thoughts, Faust? Urban nightmare. However, considering their specific attributes, it will not take long for them to rise to become a star of the city, level threat. There is a reasonable possibility that they may be issued the Imperatus Civitatis classification. Is that not an acceptable risk? If not the head, they should be manageable by a wing. This isn't that terrible of a calamity. Kaltsit shook her head resolutely. No. Their technology seems to be based on something else, which is neither Vitium arts nor any of its derived technology. And that is precisely what could make your world vulnerable against Seaborns. Is it because they learn fast? Yes, those on the front lines of the war against Seaborns stubbornly stick to using traditional low-tech weapons. Employing high-technology weapons against them is only going to make you an enticing meal. Can't we just let whichever unfortunate wing that ends up fighting these? Do take into account that it may take a significant amount of time to earn their trust. Even if they were to be convinced, there would be other parties with alternative perspectives on the matter, concerning complicating issues. The situation will rapidly grow out of control if backstreet syndicates or fixers get involved, unless the head designates a taboo to prevent it. Even then, considering what she has been saying, yes, we must consider the possibility that they may be capable of absorbing the head's technology as well, before they are expelled from the city. Yeesh. How do you plan on helping the people of the city, Mayors? By giving them a chance to become Seaborns. What are you on about? Become Seaborns? She ain't all there either, eh? What kind of help is that? Mayors, you know that's no different from what the Church of the Deep is doing here. No, it is different. Because someone showered the city with the light. The light? The beam of light from the White Nights and Dark Days incident. How do you... Could it be? Becoming a Seaborn is to become a part of a great will called We Many. I really gotta ask, has Mayors been in touch with an AI that had a speech impediment? By doing so, one can be reborn as an altruistic life form, but at the cost of ego, the sense of self. And that's always been my issue with it. Everyone has beliefs of their own, dreams of their own. It feels too empty to lose all of that when they inevitably lose their sense of selves as they become Seaborns. Look, I want each Seaborn to have their own wishes, but the light shining through the dimensional door to our world is too faint to push them toward that evolution. If only the light of the city could become more tangible, it just might be able to give every Seaborn an identity of their own, to remain uniquely themselves. Why is it that you advocate toward those of the city to join the Seaborns when one could simply learn more of the light before returning here? First, I thought all I needed was the clue to a better evolution, but Don Quixote's Tales of Adventures changed my mind. Mine adventures? You don't understand just how precious you all are. And how would you, when you're born into that kind of world from the very start? A place where life has become a commodity and gold one of its few religions. The city has abandoned its yesterdays to survive today, and by doing so has given up on its tomorrows. Just as I needed the light, the city needs Seaborns. It needs their tenacious hold to life, their absolute unconditional selflessness. I'm not so sure that's selflessness. But at the end of the day, it still means that everyone has to turn into monsters. People ostracize the other. Something that isn't like me, something that feels alien to me, something I don't know or understand. So that fear is natural, because Seaborns are not human. You just have to cross that threshold once. Miss Mayers, do you believe the nature of humanity to be evil? Humans are selfish, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Good things can come from selfishness, that's for sure. I'm not so sure about that. But the side effects have become simply unsustainable. Doctor, you've been to countless battlefields where Rose Island has fought tooth and nail for the rights of the infected. But what came of it? Peace? No, it's the same. But still, we're all still getting better, little by little. I'm not trying to deride those small incremental steps and call them meaningless. Change takes time. Should it continue, I believe your efforts can be a beacon of light that will lead humanity toward a brighter future. But what about everyone who's sacrificed while you're taking your time, taking those incremental steps? Every single day of that incremental change is marred by unjust deaths. Some are enslaved for another reason than their differences. People live on in that despair that seems to have no end. I agree with what the light told me. People are diseased. They're so sick that even in the far-flung future, even on the day the world ends, they'll continue to fail to look forward, obsessed with scrutinizing each other in search of those differences. What the light told her? Oh, hell, she's gonna distort. Even when every agent returns to sea, they're still going to bully and hate anyone with pointed ears, labeling them as age years. Where empathy is truly eradicated, people are still going to suspect and persecute someone as the infected. People are imperfect beings. You're right. There probably isn't anyone out there who can really sacrifice themselves for the sake of others with nothing but perfect selflessness. But not when it comes to Seaborns. They don't suffer from all this absurdity, nor are they coerced to sacrifice against their will. They have the power to progress toward a better future, built from mutual understanding. No, built from a hive mind. Because they're the kind of life form that seeks common ground instead of scrutinizing for differences. Yeah, because they have a hive mind! Bells. A strange shaped form shimmers and materializes before Mayers. I couldn't quite tell what it was, but it was round and it looked like a tool. It is possible that she had already met the conditions to effloresce. Possible explanation could be the absence of the particular pull required to draw it out of her, or the insufficiency of it. This isn't anything like the arts. What is happening for Miss Mayers? Their proximity to the dimensional door increasing the potency of influences coming over from the city. Precisely. Connection to Faust returning to normal levels seems to indicate that. Wait, can people in other worlds? Mayers also manifest ego? Eternal conflict and anguish is a commonality among every intelligent entity, regardless of whether they are from the city or not. Therefore, yes, Faust is quite positive on this possibility as well. However, what does that mean? Potential to efflorescent ego. implies the potential to distort as well. You've been dreaming for a long time, Mayors, drawing your own picture of an idealized world. And you have chosen the ocean as the means to building a path toward that vision. Yet, why have you failed to take the leap of faith in yourself? I had to make preparations. Seaboards are beautiful, there's no doubt about it. It's just that a key piece was missing to really achieve what I want. You're not being honest with yourself. You know it very well that you are afraid of becoming one of them. Fear that your own creed might crumble, that you might lose your own sense of self, your ego. Fear that you might end up becoming nothing more than just another thing swept up by the ineffably overwhelming will. Isn't it terrifying that this hope could just disappear in a blink? Who is she talking to? Is this something Limbus Company has experience with? If so, I'd appreciate an explanation. Just hear that voice. When that singular faith that one had absolute confidence in breaks in one fell swoop and their ironclad will is shattered. People of the city have the potential to distort into a monstrous form at any time. It is said that these phenomena are often accompanied by the distorting individual hearing a disembodied voice. Indeed, those who distort would often behave as though they were engaged in a conversation. Of course, the same could be said for those who awaken ego. At first, I thought it was Kathy. It wasn't her. This was beautiful, comforting, even cozy. Not a voice that puts all deep contemplation to sleep. So calming, so warm. No. There's more to the sunshine than its warmth. The sunshine? You don't share your interests with the other devotees. Survival isn't what you care about. What you really care about is giving everyone a chance to experience what it feels like to live in a world of warmth. Ephemeral it may be. Right, we have to be about more than just prolonging our existences. What really matters isn't survival. It's what we leave behind for posterity, our legacy. As long as there's a guarantee that the light can indeed protect the sense of self, it'll be more than enough to convince people to become seaborns. Please, you don't have to concern yourself with what other people might think, Mayors. But everyone has their own wishes. I can't just bulldoze over theirs to force mine upon them. But that's not what you really believe, is it? You know that better than anyone. While you hesitate, as people who are bound to the inescapable bridle will continue to suffer. That might be true, but it's okay. You don't have to hide the shape of your heart, its colors. The only thing you have to concern yourself with is how you can how you can lead the people of the city and Terra. Kinda interesting how the words lingered on the screen for a bit. Okay, we can't just sit here and let this happen. Operators to positions. Operators unable to approach. She's surrounded by a strange field, Doctor. Whenever someone would distort due to reasons other than the monolith, a strange pressure would prevent our approach, as though to stop us from interfering. Looks like that applies here too, all the way over in another world. That's supposed to be a heartbeat? Kind of sounds like it, but it sounds a bit fast. Love is our collective destination, after all. So please, go of this tool that might break your heart. Don't force yourself to walk the path of thorns. Your pilgrimage needn't be that of suffering. No, You don't believe in any recourse, do you? Other than this, anyway. Don't you think we should find a better, faster path with less suffering? Before more people inevitably hurt each other with their ill intent? You're right. There's no recourse. It has to happen faster. Can't waste any more time while people suffer. Follow your wishes. Follow your desires. Paint. Show them the painting of your world reflected in your eyes. With their compassion, they believe it becomes completely worthless. Kind of freaky looking, and yet cool and strangely beautiful. I just hear the shiver of your heart and what makes you want to enter the city. We still know so little about the Seaborns, about Terra, about Iberia. Whatever may have lit the fire under your feet can't bring you with us to the city as you are now. Even before the sinners had the chance to translate my words, Mary slowly turned in my direction as though she clearly understood my words. But I was Astante. Our adventures were full of exhilarating tales, and I saw kindness in the every word and action of you and your friends, but that's not enough. You don't think they'll change? No, they will. The far, far future. An incandescent brilliance burst forth from before my ears. Past that light, I saw the ocean. The calm sound of gently lapping, crashing waves. Immense golden brilliance. A portal? Where did it come from? Dungeon of the Fathoms. That gate that leads into one's heart. This periphery is where LCB department specialty begins. While what lies beyond this periphery does not necessarily warrant Rhodes Island's presence. Can you guys help? I don't know what kind of fathoms I'm walking into, but I have a feeling that we're going to need your assistance. Dr. Carlson? We're only here to investigate the dimensional door, but I don't want us to turn our backs on people we can help. Rhodes Island accepts Limbus Company's cooperation request. I'll go too. We're still in Iberia. Can't let Iberian business be handled solely by outsiders, let alone an incident connected to the Church of the Deep. Don't worry, it's not like this is the first time we're letting someone not in our group into a Dungeon of the Fathoms. We'll be fine. Or sea terrors. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that sea terrors that were sworn in the lighthouse are coming this way as well. I'll call Scotty here. You'll be staying behind then? Tommy will go with you, Doctor. Following mayors who had already disappeared into the portal, take our steps into the utopian world beyond. In we go! Oh yeah. Derp.
Wild hunt, yeah.
Is this Rapture? It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Here's the wars getting grimmer by the day. The sea terrors are coming, swarming. This is the day when the ocean-born calamity broke and sunk years in the seemingly infinite starward growth. Aren't you going to the surface, Mayors? More and more people have been getting too anxious to stay in Aegir. I'm not. figure falls, it only means that the surface is soon to follow. Why? Think you'll head to the surface too? Thinking about it. Well, there weren't that many people around me to begin to leave for the surface. Considered some of them to be acquaintances, they all tried to convince me to leave with them. But fleeing my home in favor of the land didn't feel right. Foretold calamity descended, dealt a heavy blow to Aegir. The surface suffered much worse. I had to help them. How could I not after hearing that such a horrible thing, after hearing that such a terrible thing has happened? I think I'll head to the surface. Seriously? The surface? Think hard about it before you go. If you leave now, coming back might no longer be an option. Every day must be a struggle for them. At least I don't have to fear for the immediate tomorrow. So it's my responsibility to provide help as someone who is better off than them, by a little. I know, but if I don't go there to help, things won't get much more dangerous for the land dwellers. Maybe that danger is the very thing that'll hurt you. I still think I have to help them. Procured myself an Aegirian research vessel at a cheap price to bring me to the land. Unable to even submerge itself while moving, this wasn't exactly the best ship out there, and I normally wouldn't have even given it a second look. But I thought it would at least help me navigate the coastal sea. I didn't expect this. The very first thing I witnessed on the surface, bottomless hostility against the Aegir. They denied my and Aegir's offer for help for the sole reason that I came from the sea. They denied my compassion, my research. Get lost! We don't need your stupid research. You're from the same place as that calamity, aren't you? Do you really think we're so stupid that we'd trust you? Confiscated my catalysts and tore my research apart. I wished to stand with them against the calamity was devoured by the hatred born of the same calamity. Any kindness, any compassion I gave them was repaid twofold in hatred and suspicion. Did the terrible conditions of this land transform them into monsters, or is this always their nature? Bit of both. At least that's what I'd say. It wasn't long before the research vessel I brought from Aegir was confiscated out of suspicion. A few weeks later, when I finally came across the vessel by the beach, there was an uncanny name inscribed outside. Rebellion de las Masas. But none of that was enough to stop me from continuing my research for the sake of the land dwellers. I went through so many trials and errors to somehow impede the sea terror's rapid evolution, to revive the Iberian soil contaminated by the Nether Sea brand. My work bore barely any fruit, and I let the days float by as I watched the Inquisition arrest the Aegir one by one. When my sea terror samples and research notes came into view, they all looked completely different from one another. Some of them with fundamentally different physiologies. Even still, nothing stopped them from being us instead of I. For the first time, I became doubtful of my efforts to interrupt their evolution. Her tales were not entirely fabrications. Aegis is a bishop of the Church of the Deep, so that automatically makes her a sinner in the eyes of the Inquisition, regardless of her reasons. The more I studied them, the more I found them to be such compassionate, altruistic creatures. All they cared about was their survival, without even a hint of selfishness. They're not some evil monsters from the sea. Players say that seaborns may not be evil, but it doesn't matter what they are. Whether they are kindly life forms, or whether they are simply a form of civilization, doesn't matter. Because Iberia and her Inquisition does not define seaborns as evil. Seaborns are our enemy, threats to human existence. I have but one thing to say as an Inquisitor. You, all of you, are my enemy. But It would be a good thing for the Inquisition if I were to leave for the city, wouldn't it? How would you say that it's a good thing for us to toss our problem into another world? That'll be like abandoning our pride. Unless they, the people of the city, give you permission. As an Inquisitor, I can't let you do that. Yeah, don't get your hopes up about that either. You can wrap it up in a box, and that says compassion for all you want, but Mayors, your course isn't exactly the direction I'd like to sail in. As the rest of the sinners prepare for battle in silent agreement with Ishmael's stand, Mayors mutters with genuine disappointment. I didn't want to have to do this. Waves. No better word to describe the horde of sea terrors crashing into us. This is the only way it could have ended. Your words are composed entirely of your own color and no one else's. Manager Dante, right? Do speak. We'll hold the line and defend this place against the sea terrors rushing in from the rear. So in the meantime, can you take down Mayors and deal with the remaining sea terrors? Absolutely. The manager responded affirmatively. All operators will be drawing the sea terrors to us. We don't need to take them all down. We just need to act as a wall between the wave and the people of Limbus Company. Irene, I'd like to ask for your help as well. As for Amiya, please assist Limbus Company, just in case. Okay, then let the mission begin. Hmm.
이런 임무는 뱀 중에서도 내가 제일이지.
囚人の皆さんの状態に何か変化が
행색이 이상하나. 그럼에도 이상이여. 내가 맞서. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위 이상이여. 자, 어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해보라고.
무상은 목숨. 불그대 지원해.
ドクターのように優れた式ですね
The thing at a lot of the Igor having pointed ears, or at least Mayors having pointed ears, along with
大きな打撃を与えました
well, having pointed ears, not unlike an elf, along with these sea terrors kind of having a sort of like Lovecraftian feel to them.
敵は深手を負っています
If I'm not mistaken, Eldritch originally meant Elven, so that's actually a bit fitting.
시간 끌 것 없이
시비수에게 이야기 뭐라는 너는 못자란 깔끔하게 길을 건넌다. 넌 푸름을 튀어 해충들을 도려내라.
지식에
묘야. 넌 푸름을 틔울 수도 없겠고.
시간은 좋았으나
敵は深手を負っています
What are you talking about? They're all at full health.
위기당천. 멀어졌지고.
이제 깨치시게.
고작 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나.
이걸로 충분해. 너한텐 멀겠지만.
これがリンバスカンパニーの戦闘。私もまた一つ学ばせていただきました。
Trying to charge up fluid sac.
발톱을 걸어. 고작 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나. 넌 푸름을 틔울 수도 없겠구나. 바람 불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
So what does that icon mean? There seems to be a commotion at the village square. Villagers are surrounding someone with a clear intent to threaten. The evil sorcerer's gone, so why won't this calamity end? Explain! Be honest, you couldn't stand to watch Iberia thrive, could you? For that calamity, we would have. Look, please, I'm just here to share some research notes. What? How to fight those sea monsters? Oh, now you're looking to help? Newsflash, is too dang late. These scraps of paper won't do anything to help us. The locals firmly believe the calamity is brought here by Aegir's. Feel the mob turning toward us. An evil sorcerer started the profound silence. He pretended to work for us, but it turned out that he was driven by envy for Iberia's prosperity. They'll try to stop us outsiders. They came from the sea just like the sorcerer himself. They reported that hungry and harrowed look of villagers came into the sinner's eyes. A villager cradling an empty bottle of cloth, a child holding a staff and a hat that was far too large for him. They've all lost a lot. That void in your heart blinds you. It makes it unbearable to keep your emotions in check. This is how they deal with sorrow. Where no emotions were intent to be found in the great calamity that devoured Iberia whole. So they sharpen their sorrows into wayward wraths against those who come from the sea, just like the calamity itself. Which means someone needs to direct their anger against their rightful foes. Green? Step back, citizen. If we were to determine that the Aegir has committed crimes, it falls under the Inquisition's jurisdiction to carry out the consequences. Aegir is innocent. Do you understand that your actions cannot be permitted? See that Irene managed to provoke some thought in the mob as they slowly walked away from the Aegir, until they eventually scouted away. Thank you. As you can see, I hail from Aegir. Ever since the profound silence, I devoted myself to studying seaborns and another sea brand to help the land dwellers. I don't know where my colleagues have all gone, but what's the point of this anymore? They don't want my help, so why should I give it to them? He seems crestfallen by his experience at Iberia. Maybe so. Maybe it's just a matter of what they actually want. We should push this more carefully and possibly find a new research angle. We should be trying to find a way to restore the soil from all the salt that destroyed it. Oh, if you're heading out to sea, would you take this with you? These are years worth of sea tier research notes. Take them. You'll find more use for them than I or the land dwellers did. After handing over his research notes, the Aegir walks away with an unburdened expression.
아는 것을 모른 채 할 수는 없으니.
10% against enemies, 1% additional damage for every enemy defeated or every part broken during this encounter. Can activate the buff effect by breaking the same part repeatedly. If there's C tiers among enemies, the buff effect activates at maximum potential regardless of the conditions. Oh, that's bound to come in handy.
만곡된 직선을 직선으로 질주하겠소.
Oh.
囚人の皆さんの状態に何か変化が。
행색이 이상하나 그럼에도 이상이여. 내가 맞소. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위 이상이여.
목을 콱 물어버리자고.
고작 이 정도 탕류의
敵に
허덕이나.
対して大きな打撃を与えました。
물 넘고
ドクターのように優れた式ですね。
몰아넣었으니 더는 못 따라나.
Oh, come on!
무상한 목숨. 불끄덕 지원했군.
効果的な攻撃でした。
자, 시비수에게 어쩌든지 잘 생각해보라고. 숨쉬는 자, 누구 하나 사이를 보내지 마라. 도끼를 보내라. 저 해충들을 도려내라.
깨치시게.
묘여, 넌 불을 틔울 수도 없겠구나.
ダンテさんの作戦とても効果的でした。
Seriously?
다음은 어디로?
이 거리면 충분해. 너한텐 조금 멀겠지만.
그쪽 방향이 아닐 텐데.
敵は深手を負っています。
이 일기당천. 목을 떨궈주마. 고작 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나.
I'm getting really annoyed with how they keep pulling that kind of bullshit. That too.
이건 예상 못했나봐.
このまま行けば敵を食い止められます。
Okay, that should do it.
먹을 콱 물어버리자고. 모든 결과들은 하우스트가 알아요.
혈염도 바로.
괜찮지 싶네. 엘리트 오페레이터のみの腕前です。
Yeah. Top that! Loathsome variety. How fitting. Like a loathsome variety of bots. Oh shoot.
저길지 잘
You have to
생각해보라고.
attack the Hand of the Saint in order to clear the Nethersea brand.
바람 불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
Guess didn't need to. Alright, so what the heck does this icon mean?
만곡된 직선을 직선으로 질주하겠소.
Oh, great.
행색이 이상하나 그럼에도 이상이여. 내가 맞소. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위 이상이여.
$20. Ugh. Yeah.
불가
시비수에게 나왔나.
막아내지 못하리.
이 앞에 숨지도자. 누구기를 고작 이 정도 탕류에 허덕이 저 해충들을 도려내라.
깨우치시겠.
묘야. 길을 열어. 넌 푸름을 틔울 수도 없겠구나.
ドクターのように優れた式ですね。
무상한 목숨.
Okay, good. So the one that he was using his clashful counter against didn't get smoked already.
물 넘고 꺾고 제쳐라.
適した攻撃でなくても最善の選択だったはずです。
그쪽 방향이 아닐 텐데.
敵は深手を負っています。
The heck? Come on. Just to be sure.
목을 콱 물어버리자고.
바람 불어오는 대로
Two down.
짓밟아라.
허술하긴.
There we go. That's gonna be 3.
깔끔하게 물었군.
목을 콱 물어버리자고.
목을 떨궈주마. 넌 푸름을 틔울 수도 없겠구나. 혈염도 바로.
이거리면 충분해. 너한텐 멀겠지만.
ダンテさんの作戦とても効果的でした。
Again, just to be sure. Let's deal with that other one.
날개를 펼치고 발톱을 걸어.
Smoked. Like a ham. Ham.
마음 놓고 열어졌지. 바람 불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
최근은 좋았어요.
답은 어디로?
エリートオペレーター並みの腕前です。
How many is it left? 6 of them, huh? Just one. In that case. Better idea.
시간 끌 것 없이 모조리 치워버리죠.
이건 예상 못했나 봐.
놀랐어?
마음 놓고 열어젖히고.
敵は深手を負っています。
Alright. Fingers crossed.
모조리 지워버리자.
Ah, why the heck am I even bothering to do that? My luck is terrible.
틈틈 바람.
깔끔하게 물었군.
시도는 좋았어요.
이 거리는 충분해. 너한텐 지금 알겠지만. これがリンバスカンパニーの戦闘。私もまた一つ学ばせていただきました。
Okay, so it did work. See, atop a steep coastal cliff, an old man is staring out into the far ocean, peering through the gate, or the gale. See, don't you worry, the lighthouse is taller than even this very cliffside we're on. That is nothing to keep her friends. Still, the day is getting late. I should be heading back soon. I bid you safe journeys. Heard the splash of waves coming from behind us. Old man was nowhere to be seen on the cliff. Oh well. At the center of what appears to be an arc symbolizing the city. The center of that brilliant golden light must be Mayor's. Let's take a quick break here. You right, Doctor? I just need to take a quick breather. You should probably work on your cardio, or Miss Amia might have to piggyback you around. Yeah, well, once we get back, I'll start working out like Colson suggested. Executive Manager, if it ever comes to it, you may trust me with the piggybacking. I'm good. Perhaps being in close proximity to Mayor's vision of Utopia in the center of the light did something. Seaborn's nearest only gave us a passing glance without attacking us. Something about the way they looked at us felt like they were concerned about us. Sears couldn't help but look away with a funny feeling. I feel sorrow, regret. Maybe these feelings are denials for all the time she spent agonizing over this. Really bring back Miss Mayers? We'll help her return. That's what we're here to do, after all. Alright, let's rest up for a bit before moving on. Nice! How hard can it be?
뱃대에서 내려. 천장으로.
Mayor's despair. Impulsiveness of people's ill intent. Faint hope that the light found within. Kinds of emotions and memories rise to the surface of Amiya's fathoms, then sink again. The same thoughts seep into me as well, unfiltered. The sins that people have committed won't just go away. Mary's ill intents will propagate unimpeded too. The ties that Miss Mayers is trying to summon to douse it, devour humanity, their civilization, and the city they came from. So I don't think that's the right way to go. Not as long as Dante and the people of Limbus Company refuse. This isn't like the time I retrieved the ego. In place of the light, a speck of darkness casts a shadow. A strange power courses through me before radiating toward the sinners. What does that do?
皆さんの状態に何か変化が。
행색이 이상하다.
Hit against enemies, 50 divided by the net, 20% chance to gain one eager resource corresponding to the skills. Use skills
아시의
ability.
이상을 남겨줬던 호의 이상이요.
Oh, okay. Might as well ready that.
목을 콱 물어버리자고.
목을 떨궈주마.
이 거리면 충분해. 너한텐 조금 멀겠지만.
ダンテさんの措置は
혈압도 바로.
とても効果的でした。
무아타로. 물넘고 꺾고 젠차. 눈부시지 않다고 두려워하지 마.
림버스 컴퍼니の皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
또아리를 튼 밴 근처엔
Yeah, 11 already.
있잖아.
Whoa.
불가
시비수의 곡기를 보내라.
막아내지 못하리.
저 해충들을 도려내라.
最善の選択だったはずです。
틈틈
묘야. 길을 열어라.
敵に対して大きな打撃を与えました。
혈액도 봐라. 원함이 없으니 더는 못 따라나. 그쪽 방향이 아닐 텐데.
効果的な攻撃でした。
무상한 목숨. 불끈의 지원일 뿐.
ドクターのように優れた式ですね。このままいけば敵を食い止められます。
I'm halfway there. shoot.
괜찮지 싶네.
I don't think so. Bub. Ah, crap. That's gonna suck. No. Yes. So yeah, need to get her to lose that clash.
자, 어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해보라고.
There'll be no frenzy here. Why? Because it says so. In we go.
여기구나.
Okay, maybe a little frenzy.
열어젖히고 다음은 어디로?
거스르. 지금은 좋았어요.
읽어줄까?
Hang on, that one was staggered. Hex! Hex!
어쩌겠지. 잘 생각해보라고.
Nope, not this time.
이빨이지. 가는 틈.
Neat! Ow! You've aged a lot since the last time we met, Fabby.
Is this a characteristic of your subrace? You haven't aged a day.
So, what brings you to the Church of the Deep?
Seaborns are indispensable in our preparation for the impending doom. Nothing else can ensure the survival of humanity. Thus, it would only be right for me to join hands with those who are able and willing to become Seaborns, to search for a way to prolong our existences.
We're looking to use the knowledge of the wise and the talented as nourishment for Seaborns. That won't do anything more than prolong our existences.
But is survival alone not enough? I thought a bishop of the church would share a majority of that belief with me.
Abby, you and I both have put our faith in the Seaborns, but the word faith might mean something different for you than it does for me. Seaborns shouldn't be our object of worship. We have to stand on equal ground as them and set our eyes on their natures.
Please step aside.
Desperation, sadness, sympathy. Here's emotions gush upward, carried by bubbles.
Terra, a land in which the hatred for the different has entrenched itself. The city, a place in which people, crushed by the trials of life, have surrendered to its absurdities. They both need the seaboards perfected beneath the light.
This is but your wish, Miss Mayers. Faust does not believe them to be necessary elements for the city. Even in the city, there are people who are searching for reasons to live on, dreaming of a better world. We all know that it can't possibly be easy to change, but there has to be some kind of worth, value in that process alone. The lives we lead within the city.
What worth could there be to a life of the unkind? The kind of life humanity is doomed to exist in, where all we ever do is hurt and hate on one another. Listen, efficient order, natural altruism, both virtues humanity should never lose sight of. But there's no such thing as absolutes when it comes to the value of life. Survival is the right of all civilization, which means that it should never be up to others to define the worth of life, to argue for it. But if there's no other way...
Can you even understand what I'm saying? Some time had passed since I made Ferramorto my home. Like my prediction, the Seaborn's evolution seemed to have lost its explosive progress. Fabius seemed to be content just observing their slow development. Maybe it's because they're directionless, without a specific wish. Still, Seaborns are the key to changing Terra, the land. To stand against the incoming calamity, we needed their survivability and adaptability. The humanity that has turned exhaustion into ill intent needed the Seaborn's blind, selfless altruism toward their own. So, while I never stopped my studies, something small but sharp continued to stab at my frustrated heart. Stultified and unable to be resolved. We were to lose even our own sense of selves and creed, assimilated to the stagnated great will. the sake of survival, civilization had to be no more. For the sake of us, I had to be no more. Realization of that paradox made the first crack in my confidence that Seaborns were the answer to the problem Iberia, the land, and humanity faced. Through the cracks, the seeds of doubt were sown. I had already come too far to find a path more beautiful than the Seaborns. No more wasting time with these stupid ruminations. There has to be a way, some kind of condition Seaborns need to fulfill, to retain their sense of selves, to retain their individual hopes and wishes. I stood adrift a bit atop the inundation of years I dedicated to this purpose, holding on to this precious hope instilled in my shaking heart. And that was the easy part. There are no better solutions. Don't look away from the answer that lies right in front of me. All I need to do is find a way for Seaborns to hope and wish, to have them each carry a sense of self. I just had to repeat that to myself like a mantra, again and again. But my drifting days came to an end when I found a new path, illuminated by the strange light from across the sea. That day, yes, the day when that faint blue light shone, a whisper visited me. Who's there? Whose voices? What? Answer, sought through the eons by people I didn't recognize, played over and over in my heart. The voice that spoke it was muffled but warm and beautiful. The light of the city? Hearts that were lost? Emotions that were forgotten? The sense of self that... Oh, that's enough of that. I'd like to hear more about the light. The light that has sprouted from the 10 virtues. 10 virtues? Okay, so yeah, the 10 departments, which also corresponded to the 10 points, the Sephiroth. The image whose those words drew in my mind was clearer and more beautiful than ever. Terra, the city, they've both failed to find a way out of this bridle. They're going to be satisfied with living on as they are, then... You can't change what you see by standing still. If you want to bring about a better world, then even if you may be lost in the ideals, you have to keep walking. Survival, worth of life, as I've never been too certain about it, either of those complicated ideals, had no unflinching creed with which to convince her. That's not to say that the city has no need of the altruistic nature Mayors wants to bring here. That's not to say that I have a better answer than the combination of Seaborns and the light. Even still, the emotions, the regrets, the conversations I found and collected over this journey alongside the sinners become my answer to tick on. Honestly, I don't really know the city all that well either. My memory only goes back a year. For what is practically my entire existence, I've been surrounded by the sinners and our adventure. Still, I want to keep trying. Right. The city is an absurd, vicious place. Something new and horrible surprises me every other day, but... There's that light you spoke of. I don't think that's what protects the ego, the sense of self. To protect it, you have to first look unflinchingly both ways. The path that lies ahead and the one that you've walked. Then you confront them both. That can't be right. The light, it has to... That is walking best of what you heard about the city of the light, ain't that right? How can you be so confident about that the light will be able to protect the Seaborn sense of selves? That's just what you want to believe. I think it's a distinct possibility. Even if the light can do what you hope it does, Mayors, it won't change anything. Turning our nature is kind by transforming us into Seaborns. A neat method like that isn't our path. Just the sense of self protected like that, the kind nature attained like that, wouldn't be our own. It would be yours, Mayors. Protecting your own sense of self while being compassionate and kind. It's a path of unbearable suffering. Might fail some days despite our best efforts. Some days we'll be forced to confront the sins of our past and suffer. Verily, not one of us, as we are now, may see the culmination of that path. Yet, I can hardly find it within myself to simply leave it all in my hands without so much as trying. You're saying that Seaborns can't be the answer I've always sought. Doesn't make much sense if you think about it, Mayors. The sea monsters don't even know what self means. That's why they show no hesitation before sacrifice. If you were to introduce the sense of self to those sea monsters, that selflessness you want will be no more. She's a seaborn-shaped distortion who's not a seaborn. Immensely anguished contemplating distortion. Mayors' wish is to achieve an altruistic world, then her desire has to be that she doesn't want her efforts to become meaningless. Seaborns may be the perfect answer for some people. A recent example, Fabius. It seems clear to me that was precisely his wish. But that doesn't seem to align with yours. Find a new answer, Miss Mayors. You're telling me I have to go back to wandering for so much time again, in search of that new answer. I'm going to be alone on that path. Walk it together, relying on one another. Won't feel as long. Trying to carry such a heavy burden all by yourself, Miss Mayors, it's such a prideful thing to do.
カンテさん、なんだかただならぬ気配を感じます。
Okay, so you're still generating it. Time to start spamming ego. Do it. Freaking do it! Okay.
자, 어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해보라고. 환상의 세계로 들어가 보죠. 내 팔은 병에 있었어. 이상이 무엇이라 생각하시오?
기록에 따라 당신을 반드시 집행하겠습니다.
나의 손으로 잘라낼 수 있다면
Tides carry away the windows to Mayor's past, soon devouring them beyond vision. It's almost as if Mayor's in the dungeon of the fathoms. Oh, the ocean itself is fusing into one. The majority of distortions encountered by the bus team have assumed a form generally recognized as an organic entity. There's nothing preventing a distortion's form from breaking that boundary and taking a different shape, as it may vary by the individual's desires. Her distortion is allowed to exacerbate undeterred and may eventually corrode this very space in which we stand. As we were taking some time to catch our breaths, a few small machines tumbled to the ground, shot from one of the trembling fathoms. It was one of those mysterious machines in Mayor's home we saw when we peered into her memories. The machines continued to whir loudly as the waves broke them. Expensive they appear, yet how numerous they are. Well, maybe she's similar to one of those fixer fellas that were always hell-bent on picking up every new cutting-edge workshop tech. It says little handy down here. This one has oddly similar structure to the Hand of the Saint the Inquisition brought. That shot this fantastically wonderful machine be of assistance in our battles! Which already seems to have their hands full holding the line against the tide of sea terrors. Should probably just take one and leave the rest to help them out. Does not lose shield at turn end unless removed by damage or certain effects. If the shield breaks due to getting hit, becomes staggered and gain 5 fragile until next turn. Becoming staggered due to raised threshold to gain 5 fragile. Fragile gain due to this buff's effects do not stack. Shield HP can stack, however, when this effect is active, the shield HP cannot be more than 50% of the shield of the unit's max HP. That's what I thought. Still hopeless, huh? Alright. Makes sense. His HP seems to be good, so.
날개를 펼치고 발톱을 걸어. 환상의 세계로 들어가 보죠.
You gotta be kidding me!
보상은 없어. 불끈에 지원했군.
넘고 무수히 넘고 얼마든지 먹고 제쳐라. 내 팔은 뼈에 있었어. 겹겹의
カン
중
パニーの皆さん、
どこ
ペアに
行けっそ。
行って勝ちに行きましょう。
I don't think so. Spam, 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 spam beans and spam,
이 장판
spam egg sausage and spam.
다음 세상으로 넘어가려면 자 여기구나. More spam! What the heck? I didn't ever see Brain get that bad so quick. Pretty sure it wasn't there last turn. Why is that one more powerful?
Okay. Let's see. 48 managed until the skill ends. The unit can be staggered from taking damage and gains clash power plus 20. Why ain't that convenient? Let's see. Get one attack weight, max 4. Gotcha!
이 전투는 승리할 거예요.
Crap. Oh, come on!
기록에 따라 당신을 반드시 집행하겠습니다.
Did it say 135 for the clash power?
이 검은, 이 명예는, 이 영광은 이빨이지 않을 테니.
味方が優勢です。今こそ勝機をつかむ時です。
Come on. Seriously?
될지 잘 생각해보라고. 그쪽 방향이 아닐 텐데. 혈압도 바로.
내가 찾은 나만의 항해 방식.
기록에 따라 당신을 반드시 집행하겠습니다.
味方が優勢です。今こそ勝機をつかむ時です。
I don't think this game quite understands what tends to do the most damage. This would be 15. Well, no, not quite, because with the
불가위야.
coins add up.
막아내지 못하리.
It's a sequence, not a series.
Mission accomplished.
Well, that was brutal. It's true that people scrutinize others for differences, to find something they can hate. It's also true that it is often those very differences that people look up to.
Admiration usually goes hand in hand with overestimation.
Yes, and Miss Mayers admired those two unknowns, Seaborns and the Light. She thought they would be the solution to everything. Mayers, do you still want to go to the city?
No.
I'll remain here in Terra. I'll broaden my studies, and I'll talk more. To find a new path toward realizing my wish. And that's what will happen now, Miss Mayers. We're going to need to have a long talk with the Inquisition, but we'll help too. We'll help you in your search for that path if we can. The great arc built from the city crumbles. Light fades and gives way to shadows. We found ourselves back aboard the vessel Mossus. Battle complete. Vessel Mossus is slowing down. How's Miss Mayers?
You're unconscious. The mental strain seems to have taken its toll.
It all happened inside the dungeon of the Fathoms, but it can't have been too easy on her mind to send so many waves after us. What'll happen to Miss Mayers now?
First, well, wait for the Inquisition's ruling, then bring her to Rhodes Island. Reference were misguided, but she also had Terra's best interests at heart. Together, I'm sure we can discuss a better way forward.
What if she's sentenced to death? Then we'll need to offer a different proposal. We can consider it when we get to it, Doctor.
It's finally over. All we have left to do is go back. We were preparing to leave with our hearts much lighter than they were earlier.
Hold on, everyone. Something's rapidly approaching us.
A low thrumming roar vibrates the air as a strange shadow looms over the ship.
Where'd this shade come from? Wait, is that...
Almost as if driven by instinct, Ishmael takes the radio from Gregor and runs into the control room. Something must have clicked in Otis's head as she also turned and ran after Ishmael. Those two are running into the bridge. Brace! Grab onto something! Oh, bollocks! Look it up right before the finish line!
Doctor has advised that we grab onto something.
I see. They're preparing to turn the ship around. Everyone brace for impact. Stay alert. Something's coming.
The ship leaned heavily as it hurriedly turned portside and caught a glimpse of a massive shadow gliding just beneath the water's surface, right where the ship was a second ago. It's a seaborn, the size of, slightly larger than the vessel Mossus. Tommy's communicator buzzes with Ishmael's voice. The currents are going wild. Wait, no, something's causing these turrets to go wild. We'll try our best to maintain evasive maneuvers for as long as possible, but we can't do this forever. The situation does not improve. We may have to take the vessel Mosses to cross the dimensional door. Does Rhodes Island have a way out of this quandary?
Not at this moment, but we have to come up with one now, and fast.
Dante, does anything come to mind?
We should first figure out why the Seaborn's coming after us.
Copy that. I'll focus on steering the ship, so keep us updated.
That the ship immediately begins a sharp turn, narrowly dodging the ponderous body of the Seaborn as it swings by. Can't just take the whole ship across the dimensional door. We're not the only ones on it. But the sea is too wild to simply turn around to let the others leave.
It's almost like it's obsessed with this ship. So why could it possibly be coming after the ship all of a sudden? Maybe that favors order. It's coming after me.
Scotty, you?
Yes, I'm their enemy, an abyssal hunter.
As though to prove it, the giant beast began to charge against the bow of the ship the moment the Scotty repositioned herself there.
Just what are the abyssal hunters? Why are they so gung-ho about trying to kill you? Abyssal hunters are those who hunt sea terrors and seaborns. Of course, this isn't based on any emotions such as vengeance or resentment. It's Scotty's... Well, it's not important right now. What matters is that they're solely targeting Scotty. Operators of Rhodes Island are heavily fatigued at this moment from their long defense against the waves in the dungeon of the Fathoms. The same can be said of us and Miss Amia, who battled Mayors in the meantime. The age that Seaborn in this particular circumstances. Oh?
Something shakes the vessel Mosses once again.
What's this now? There's more?
There are indeed multiple entities surrounding our ship. However, a violent, destructive sound crashes through the waves toward vessel Mosses. Past the sudden wall of mist, there was...
You're lucky. Was this simply how it was supposed to go?
Isharmla.
Sir Knight? 2 Seaborns? It's going to be fine, Miss Inquisitor. He's the same knight we fought earlier. I doubt he'll be able to stop himself from charging at that giant of a sea monster.
Like Hong Lu said, the knight charged straight at the giant the rough wave of the great Seaborn, as though he hardly noticed our presence. If we could help the knight repel that Seaborn, we just might have a shot at sending Limbus Company back through the dimensional door and escaping aboard the vessel Mosses ourselves. Can anyone still move?
I'm almost at my limit, but I can still move.
I've got a plan. I'd like for everyone to trust me on this.
Things weren't so bad outside after you'd entered the portal. Now's the time for the hunter to get to work.
A bright ray of light from Irene's lamp shines upon those atop the deck, while Scotty leaps tall into the air using the ship's bow as our launching pad. The operators each scatter to their appropriate positions as commanded by the doctor. Ishmael and Otis both exited to the decks as well, presumably having found someone to steer the ship.
Is it okay to have you two out here? This cult set seemed to know enough about seafaring to take over. While this crisis is far from over, she was good enough that it was reasonable for us to leave the ship steering to her and descend to the decks for our return. It doesn't seem like we'll all be able to bid you goodbye. You sure you're all going to be okay? You can stay a little longer and help. I appreciate the sentiment, I really do, but...
Amiya pointed toward the dimensional door, which had shrunk significantly smaller since the first time we saw it.
You don't have much time.
What if it was only supposed to open for a set period of time, or it's closing now because our work here is done? There was precious little we could learn about it now, but it was obvious that our time here was coming to an end. Thanks, Amiya. We would have been lost for a while in this world if it weren't for Rhodes Island's help.
Well, thanks to you, we should be able to sufficiently study the dimensional door before we return.
I'm gonna say goodbye to the Iberian sea breeze, I guess.
Do you have any idea how big the pile of paperwork is going to be at the Inquisition? Murda, try not to drop into Iberia next time, you got that? Sure, let's all stay nice and put in our own worlds.
The great Seaborn briefly falters at the combined might of Scotty and the Knight. The ship's bow managed to stop inches from the dimensional door. Manager, now's your chance. Get to the dimensional door.
Someday I hope we can meet again.
Shall take our leave.
Let's return to the city. The sea had turned into a brutal battlefield. Terrible roars contending with one another. After taking one final look at Rhodes Island and defending the vessel Mossus, we leaped into the pitch black darkness at the center of the dimensional door. Swept away by the tides of consciousness. The river draws out my memories and consciousness, sublimating them away. Then... where is this Yihongyun? Look around and see the students strewn about the room, dozing off. I see Heathcliff crash like that all the time, but I didn't ever want to crash at the same time, sleeping against the walls. Bizarre sensation that something truly missed crawls up my spine. You have come too. I thought you had come to request that you continue your rest in your chamber. Presence here makes it difficult to conduct cleaning activities in areas adjacent to your body. What? We just came through the dimensional door after Rhodes Island. Rhodes? You were transferred here after the LCCA discovered your company unconscious at the entrance of a lobotomy corporation branch. I feel like I just went through a memorable experience, but I can't recall what. There's a hole in my memory. And this strange emotional tug at my heart. An ego I don't ever recall extracting. Rocinante, prithee avail me but 5 more minutes of scheduling wedding training dummies to wake you in 5 minutes. But the bizarre sensation naturally settles. What was that abnormality? What just happened? I don't have any answers to either of those questions, but... wait, where's Suede? She said something about how there's been a delay or something. I couldn't find Suede, who's been bringing us odd jobs here and there during our stay anywhere in Yihongyun. On the desk, I did find a note filled with various requests and a letter, both presumably left behind by Suede. We've got a distortion contract. Come on, time to earn your keep. You weren't going to lounge around until we get a message from HQ, right? Are they allergic to giving us time off or something? At that moment, a certain voice briefly surfaces from the abyss of my memories before sinking again. There's no such things as absolutes when it comes to the value of life. Which means that it should never be up to others to find the worth of life, to argue for it. The worth of life. I might recall who said that, or even where I heard it from. Honestly, I don't even understand what exactly it was supposed to mean. You can't change what you see by standing still. If you want to bring about a better world, then even if you may be lost in the ideals. I mean, still, some of those words left a lingering impression on my heart. You have to keep walking. Unable to sit still, I got up from my seat and began waking up as soon as one by one. Yeah, it's not like we're getting anything done here. On your feet, guys. Time to get to work. As soon as each began waking up, some of them looked around to get their bearings. Like they're just pulled out of a long dream.
오늘 부끄럽지 않았습니다. 의의를 바로 세우는 데 일조하였으니 내일은 더 떳떳이 살아갈 수 있겠군요.
Oh, yes. One more extraction! Fingers crossed! Dagnabbit. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Well, I guess I won't know. I'll take it.
한눈 팔지 마세요. 메마른 당신에게 파도는 반드시 밀려올 테니.
About time I got an eager for Ishmael. Shafted again, man! Hmm. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Wait, not that one. That one! Hmm. Well, I'm just about out of time. As always, folks, thank you for watching, and peace be with you.